Hello everyone, I'm Love here, back again with another Awaken Chaos Era video. So in today's video, I'll be showing you an alternative team that you can use to speed farm the Wish of the Wind. And before I begin, I'd like to ask what's your progress in your Wish of the Wind in the tournament. So currently, I have already completed all of the points in the reward section. I've already achieved the 5,000 points, and these extra points, basically I was testing out the different team composition for the Wish of the Wind. And for the gear collection, I've also completed the 4,600 points here. So hopefully you guys can complete yours as well to get all of the rewards. And let's dive right into it for the Arcane Dominator dungeon. Alright, so this is the Wish of the Wind Arcane Dominator dungeon. And this strategy that I'll be showing you will work for both Helm Stage 4 as well as the Helm Stage 3. And the differences between Helm Stage 1 and 2 versus Helm Stage 3 and 4 is that these stages will drop fabled gears. So as you see here, fabled gears will have fabled stats. It's like something on top of the substats. And apart from that, Helm Stage 3 and 4 have what's that called? The boss will have an additional ability known as the Immune that grants them a permanent immunity to poison. So you cannot use Scangelo, Sentis and Valo or any poison heroes in this team composition. And then the team that I'll be showing you will be this one. It has a very low percentage of being used, which is the Ztlin, Marian Shadowblood, William and Nathalia composition, 6.86%. However, I found out that this team, right, has a higher win rate compared to this one when I tested it for a couple of runs. And it's much faster than the Florence composition. So let's take a look on that particular team. Alright, so this is the heroes that I'll be using, who are Ztlin, William, Marian Shadowblood and Nathalia. And for the spells, I'll be using Sundering Purgatory for the defense down and Guy's Renewal for supplementary healing. So what's the difference between Ztlin and Florence? Florence will be able to provide an AoE bonus attack as well as healing and AoE damage. However, Ztlin is somewhat a different hero where he has a unique debuff that allows the enemy to receive double damage whenever the curse debuff that placed by Ztlin expires. And in order to deal maximum amount of damage, you need your damage dealers such as Marian Shadowblood and Nathalia to deal damage during the curse debuff is active on the enemy. So basically the target priority for this team composition will be directly targeting the boss. And apart from that, Ztlin has a unique passive skill. Whenever my heroes receive damage, they will be protected by a shield, as well as applying this somewhat heal over time buff on themselves to heal them quickly. And for William, he's there to amplify the damage output of my damage dealers by 60% whenever they perform their basic ability. And he's also there to apply the defense down from his ultimate ability, as well as to provide the counter attack buff so that the enemies will receive more attacks from my damage dealer. And then we have Marian Shadowblood. She's a support damage dealer who can perform true damage to the enemies as it deals a chunk of their health. And Nathalia, on the other hand, will be my primary damage dealer to wipe out the first two waves of the enemies and then the boss. Alright, so let's see this team in action. Alright, so at the start of the battle, I have William to go first to apply the defense down, followed by Ztlin to apply the curse debuff. Hopefully the Ace developers will change this so that it will only apply to the bosses rather than the mobs in the first two waves. So this will save a lot more time for it. And then on the second round, William will activate the counter attack buff, giving additional buff to Nathalia to deal more damage to the enemy. Because she has a unique trait that for every positive effect, she will gain 10% bonus damage up to 40%. And on the second wave, as you notice, William performed his basic ability that calls a joint attack. So this will allow your heroes to perform more joint attacks to the particular target. Alright, so let's clear off this wing guard here. Alright, so the enemy is down. Now we are on the boss wave. So on the boss wave, the target priority is to target the boss herself. And now the Sundering Purgatory is just reset, so you really can apply it to the boss. And then followed by Nathalia's and Marian Shadowblood attack. So you'll need to wait for Ztlin's ability to activate, to reset so they can apply the curse debuff there. Okay, I think on this round, Ztlin curse debuff should be ready. So there you have it. So you can see easily when the enemy has this purple cloud around them, that shows that they are receiving this curse debuff. So this curse debuff will have a 2-turn duration, so you need to deal as much damage as possible during that particular debuff duration. So if you are able to deal high amount of damage, you are able to deal maximum amount of damage to break through that shield that the right wing guard has placed, and then hit through her shield and health. Alright, so there you have it. Very fast team. Alright, so this is the battle results of this team composition using Ztlin, William, Marian Shadowblood, and Nathalia. It took around approximately 2 minutes and 20 seconds. The time might vary depending on how well you can gear your heroes, especially for Marian Shadowblood and Nathalia, because they are the primary damage dealers here. If you're able to book them with mastery books, it'll be much faster. Alright, so let me show you the gears and stats of each hero so you can replicate this on your account. Alright, so this is my William. He's the first person to go first in the team. Here are his total stats. He has around about 20,690 health, 2,200 defense, 262 speed, and 80% focus. Ideally, this one should be 80 to 100% focus, but I found out that the Helmet Stage 3 and Helmet Stage 4 enemies have somewhat lower resistance compared to the other Arcane Dominator stages. So I think this one will work well. But ideally, I think for Helmet stages, it should be like 80 to 100%. And for his gears, I'm currently equipping him with a triple Raptor Set to provide him with a 45 additional speed on top of this speed substats. Alright, so let's quickly go through the gears. So this is the weapon with some attack, critical rate, speed, and defense. Ideally, this one should be substats that prioritize on health, defense, speed, and focus. But this one is my leftover gear that I used to speed tune him to go first in a battle. And then this is the helmet with some critical damage, focus, critical rate, and precision. I got this helmet just to get him with the speed from the speed set. And this is the chest plate with a triple roll on focus, critical rate, and critical damage. And then we have the speed boots with some health, defense, critical rate, and defense. And this is the health ring with triple roll on speed, focus, and resistance. And finally, we have a resistance necklace with some speed substats, focus, defense, and defense here. So as you notice, right, I do not have like great gears with the right primary substats, but since the Wish of the Wind does not do much damage to my support heroes because they have a very high base health and defense, then we can use these primary stats. But the most important thing is to speed tune him to go first in the battle and have him above 230 speed or close to 230 speed around there, because the enemies in the Wish of the Wind are really fast. Alright, so let's move on to the glyph. The glyphs are all maxed out, and same goes with his abilities here. I do not have any mastery books invested on him yet, so ideally, if I have the mastery books, I will go for his ability mastery effect to get his order advanced ability level cap to unlock this level cap. And by unlocking the level cap, what it does is it raises the chances from 80% to 100% chance, which makes the run much more consistent. Because there are some cases where William will not be able to apply the defense down, and during your damage dealer attacks during the curse debuff activation, they won't be able to deal much damage. So this one you need to take note in mind. If William is able to apply the defense down during the curse debuff, then your team would be able to deal more damage. And then when the damage is doubled, then you can knock out the boss quickly. Alright, so let's move on to the second hero on my team, who is Ztlin. Alright, so this is my Ztlin. He's the second person to go second in the team. So these are Ztlin's total stats. He has around about 70,000 health, 1,600 defense, 261 speed, and 100% focus. So the focus is needed to apply the debuff, and speed is to allow him to go second in the team. Then once you meet these two requirements, then you can put as much health and defense for him to survive. Alright, so moving on to the gear. I've also equipped him something similar to William, where he's equipped in triple Raptor Set to provide additional 45 speed. Let's quickly go through the gears. So this is the weapon with some focus, speed, and defense. This is the helmet with some focus health. Critical rate and attack is not useful for Ztlin because he's not a damage dealer. And this is the chest plate with some focus, attack, critical rate and attack. And this is the speed boots with some focus, defense, critical rate and health. Ideally this one should be the 4 primary stats that I mentioned earlier. Focus, defense, health and speed. This is the health ring with some focus, health and defense. And finally we have attack necklace with some health, focus and speed. I've selected this necklace because I want to get the additional speed from the substats there. His glyphs and masteries are all... His glyphs and abilities are all maxed out. However, I do not have any mastery books invested on him because I don't think it's important for his role here. Unless you want to like make him super tanky, then probably you want to boost up his health and defense. Ideally, it should be inside the gear section because this will massively improve the stats based on the gears that you equip on him. Alright, so let's move on to the third hero in my team, who is Marian Shadowblood. Alright, so this is my Marian Shadowblood, the third person to go third in the team. So here are her total stats. She has close to 4000 attack, 234 speed, 100% critical rate, and 233% critical damage. So she's a support damage dealer, so you need to focus on the attack, speed, critical rate, and critical damage. Alright, and the most important thing for Marian Shadowblood is you need to ascend her to Ascension 2 in order for her to unlock this trigger chance skills with this character speed. So if you're able to ascend her with this and build her up with high amount of speed, close to 250 speed, this chance to launch a joint attack will raise from 30% all the way to close to 70 to 80%, which increases the chances of her to perform this joint attack to deal more damage to the enemy. Alright, and let's quickly go through the gears. So currently I'm gearing Marian Shadowblood in Assassin set and Raider set. Assassin set is obtained or farmed from the Wish of the Wind dungeon. So before that, I equipped Marian Shadowblood with a triple Raider set. And yeah, with triple Raider set, she's able to meet the 250 speed to perform a lot of joint attack. However, with an Assassin set, right, it allows her to deal even more damage. The reason why is because Assassin set has already been buffed up, where whenever she performs an attack, it'll deal 50% more damage to the target, and it has a 50% chance to deal additional 35% more damage. That is equivalent to 50% if you total up together. 15 plus 35 is 50%. I did some calculation, and based from my observation in the long battle, it will average around about 25% additional damage to the enemy. So this is quite a huge deal for Marian Shadowblood, especially for the guild boss. Okay. Alright, so let's quickly go through the gears. So this is the weapon. It has some health, attack, critical rate, and defense. Ideally, this one should be attack, critical rate, speed, and critical damage. So I did not find any ideal weapon for her yet. So I need to farm more gears to get the right substats for Marian Shadowblood. And then this is the helmet. It has some critical damage, health, attack, and agility. Agility is not useful for her here. You want to prioritize on those 4 stats to maximize her damage output. And then we have the chest plate with some critical damage, health, attack, and agility. This is a speed boots with some critical rate and critical damage. And then this is a critical rate ring with some critical damage, health, and speed. So these guys have a lot of health stats, which makes her pretty tanky. And finally, this is an attack necklace with some critical rate, critical damage, and health. Her glyphs and abilities are all maxed out. And for the mastery, I've invested 2 books in her, and one of the book gave her 15 additional speed rather than 20% critical damage. And then the other mastery book went into this fixed stat up, which increases her main stat for the weapon, head, and chest. Alright. So if you want Marian Shadowblood to deal more ally joint attack, probably you can give her more mastery books so that she will max out this gear mastery effect. Especially for this render step up 1 as well as the render step up 2 for the feet, neck and hands. Because this will amplify the amount of primary stats you gain from those equipment. So let me show you the gears. Like this one, right? So if I have the gear mastery effect, right, this will give around about 30% additional speed. So 30% times 50 is around about 15 additional speed. Same goes with the attack and as well as the critical damage, critical rate ring here. Alright, so let's move on to the last and final hero on my team, who is Nathalia. Alright, so this is my Nathalia. These are her total stats. She has around about 5,742 attack, 100% critical rate, 390% critical damage, and 229 speed. I think she needs to have more than 225 speed. I guess the boss speed is around about 225 for the Helmut stage 4. For Helmut stage 3 I think it's slightly lower. Alright, so let's show you the gear. So currently I'm gearing Nathalia in a guard set as well as double radius set. This double radius set is really important to boost up her speed. But you can mix and match depending on the substats on your gear. However, the guard set is really important. You need to have this guard set so that it will automatically activate her arcane ward that applies the attack buff for 3 turns as well as the immune for 2 turns. Okay, let's quickly go through the stats here. So this is the weapon with some attack, critical rate, speed and focus. Focus is not useful for Nathalia because she's not a debuffer. Ideally, this one should be a critical damage substats. And then this is the helmet with some attack, critical rate and critical damage. This is the chest plate with attack, critical damage, focus and health. And then we have some speed boots here with a triple roll and critical rate, attack and critical damage. This is the critical damage ring with attack and critical rate. And finally we have the attack necklace with some focus, critical damage and critical rate. Her glyphs and abilities are all maxed out. And for her masteries, I've already fully booked Nathalia because she's one of the most used hero on my team because I use her in various speed farming dungeons such as like Ash Magistra, Queen of Tides, as well as the Wish of the Wind. So if you want to farm these Helmut stages, I think I would recommend to invest mastery books on Nathalia first, and then you can prioritize on either like William to increase the success rate of his ultimate from 80 to 100%, and then also add some books to Marian Shadowblood because Marian Shadowblood can be used for Gemini Dragon, Queen of Tides, as well as the Wish of the Wind. Alright, so that's the end of the video covering this team composition where I use Ztlin, William, Marian Shadowblood as well as Nathalia. I find that this team has higher win rate compared to the Clarence, William, Marian Shadowblood and Nathalia team composition. Do let me know down in the comments below if you have any questions regarding this team composition. Alright, if you found this video helpful, do give this video a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, you can click on the subscribe button as well as ring the notification bell to stay up to date whenever I upload a new video to this channel. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!